So this is our third video in our look at creating engineering drawings from fusion models. And in this model we have, this is a gripping jaw. The model is called a gripping jaw. And we have some interesting geometry here. We have a slot, an open slot on the horizontal surface. We have a slot on the vertical surface. And we have a dovetail, or half of a dovetail joint on the vertical surface as well. So what we want to do is we want to create a 3-view orthographic drawing of this. We're going to create a section view as well in our front view. So let's get started. So we go to design and we go to the drawing workspace. And this is an inch drawing, so we're going to keep everything good here. And it's going to bring up V-size sheet, and we can see our first view. And I'm going to work through this in a certain way, rather than, go through with a planned kind of setup. I thought that it would be good to work through this as if I was kind of figuring things out as I'm working. All right, so let's suspend right now the idea that that we know what our section view is going to be, and let's just work on our 3 views and see how we can kind of figure things out. So I'll talk you through this. So first of all, I think it's clear that this scale is not appropriate. It's much too small. Let's change this to a full scale 1:1, and that's better. Now I know I'm probably going to need 3 views here. That's something that, generally speaking, you may be able to figure out by looking at the model, but you can also feel your way through that as well. But I'm fairly certain I'm going to need a top view to show the open slot and the dovetail. I know I need the view right here, which we could call this the front view. I know I'm going to need that because that's showing the profile of the shape. And then I know I'm going to need either a left or a right view because that's going to show the slot on the vertical surface. Okay, the closed slot on the vertical surface. So, I kind of know that I'm going to need 3 views. Okay, maybe I'll need a 4th view, or maybe I can eliminate one of those views. But we're kind of I'm trying to play through the idea that I'm trying to figure this out as I'm developing these views. So I'm going to put a view here and say okay, that looks good. And now let's go ahead and get our projected view. So I'll pick this view and we'll go up like this, and then we'll go here, and just for giggles we'll put that view in there as well, and then I'll hit enter. Okay. So really the first decision, if we're trying to figure out what views we're going to need on our drawing, the first decision is, do I go with the left view here or the right view? I mean, you could argue that, well, you could just reverse this and show it the other way. That's true. I could reverse it and show, but that's academic. That's not a big deal. And in this view, we see that we have, we can see this surface, right? This small piece that's jutting out as visible lines here, and the dovetail section is hidden lines, and that essentially is mostly reversed in this view. All of this detail is represented with these hidden lines, and this edge and this edge are represented here and here as visible lines, but then I also don't see this line, this edge, and this edge except as hidden lines here. So this is a good description of why we would choose in this case, a left view rather than this view. This view has too many hidden lines. We're missing, we have important features, namely this part right here, that are shown only in hidden lines, which are off limits for dimensioning. And anything that we would gain in our representation looking at it from this view of the dovetail, we really, don't get all of it, right? That's hidden and that's hidden. So this view is not appropriate, okay? So that leaves us with these three views. And right now I want to switch to, my section view, so how am I going to draw my section view? Well, obviously, this is what I want to be my section view, right? I want to show this area here. My cutting point line will cut right through here, okay? Not through here. That's not really going to be, it would generate the same section view, but it's not a very good view for putting our cutting point lines, okay? It's not wrong, right? Remember, there's kind of rules with dimensioning and views, orthographic views, engineering drawings. There's rules, and then there's guidelines. Rules means, you don't break them, right? Unless you have some kind of, really good reason and there's some workaround. Guidelines are things that you kind of lean one way or the other, but, there's a bit of leeway, okay? So we want our cutting point line up here. We want this to be a section view, but now we have an issue because, well, this is our base view, right? So I know I need to get rid of this. We can't, with Fusion, you can't turn a view into a section view. You just have to remake it. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to go, now notice I got rid of my base view. That really doesn't upset this, except now this view is kind of left out there. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to go to section view, and I'm going to pick this as my parent view. I'm going to very carefully select this center, and I'm going to drag out, right? I haven't clicked yet. I'm going to drag out right about there, and I'm going to come all the way across right about there, and then I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to create my section view right there, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to hit enter, and then there it is. But notice now this view is not aligned with this view, okay? So now this view is wrong. So I need to click on this, get rid of that, hit delete, and I need to project from this parent over here, okay? So that's very important, right? That's very important. Now, let's take a second though. Look at what we have here. So what it's leaving out is this leaving out the hidden lines. Because I'm projecting from this section view, it's omitting the hidden lines. Well, that's not appropriate. So how are we going to fix that? Well, let's click on this, and I'm going to hit the right mouse button. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it that way. Let's just double click on this. All right, double clicking opens this up. And here we see why. This up here, the style, we want to go to visible with hidden edges. All right, so we do need to change that. All right, if you do it this way, right? Otherwise, what's the alternative? Well, to know ahead of time that you're going to be creating a section view developed from the top view, and use this as your base view when you put down your view. So in other words, you would go to base view, and instead of this, you would go to top, and that would be your base view. Okay, so remember, I'm playing along like I'm figuring this out on the fly. Okay, if you know ahead of time, and I kind of knew ahead of time what I needed to do, then of course I would have done that and avoided this problem. Okay, But I'm trying to show that there are workarounds, in a way to kind of fix things after you've gone one direction. All right, so let's clean this up. We don't want this text, and the views are good, so we're ready to assign our center marks and center lines. So let's go to our center mark, and I'm going to pick the outermost circle here, and of course it's going to put the little thing in there because it's only the little thing. This is all good. Now here we have a little bit of an issue. All right, so let's see if we can figure out how to get around that. We go here and we put that in there, and of course it does the same thing again. We can put this in there. Here we can't really, how are we going to do that? Okay, so we have a little bit of work, right? We have a little bit of work. So here's where we might try to use one of the new features in Fusion. Okay, this is in the new release of Fusion, the ability to put sketches on our drawing. Okay, and I don't mean sketches in the sense that we're going to build 3D models out of. I mean sketches in the sense of two-dimensional drawings on this, right? So right now you'll see there's no line command. We can't draw anything here, right? This is not the place for drawing right now. But we can fix that, right, with this new feature that they have with Fusion. And we go to right here, create sketch. Okay, so what we need to do is we need a center line to come out here a little bit, center mark. We need to fix that center mark. We need to draw a center line through here and a center line through here and a center line through here. We need to extend these through there. And kind of fix this vertical. Okay, so let's go to create sketch, and now before we get going into what we're going to do, let's make sure we have everything set. We want other geometry, yes. Notice that doesn't help us, right? So we want the layout grid, right? That helps, right? Of course we could turn that off, but it kind of maybe helps. We do not want to snap to the grid. We do not want to snap to these points because these points are arbitrary. Certainly they're not related to our drawing. All right, so take that off. And we actually are going to be drawing center marks, center lines. So we can do center to or center. And if you're wondering what the difference is, let's just draw one on each one. So I'm going to go to center to, and I'm going to draw, look at these. See, we got these commands now. I'm going to draw a line. All right, so that's center to. And let's change one to center. And let's draw a center line. Okay. And you can see the difference is center to has half the scale of our dashes as center. So I think center to is most appropriate. So let's go there. All right, and let's get down in here and get this going. Okay, so I'm going to go to the line command, and I'm going to, now notice we got some snaps on. Yeah, nothing there. There's no ability to control the snaps, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to basically let's see if we can do this. I haven't used this a lot, people. So if we go to end, no, that's not what we want to do. Let's go back to the line command. And let's just move over so that we get that little, that's called the nearest, right? It's not letting me grab an endpoint, which is kind of what I wanted. See right there, I wanted to grab an endpoint, but it's either letting me grab a center or nearest. So I'm just going to grab nearest, and I'm going to come out. And here you're going to have to be careful. We want to draw a line that is at 0 degree angle, right? So I'm going to type in let's say point. Oh, see, it's not even going to let me put in the distance. Endpoint. It will let me do that. That's interesting. I'm trying to figure out how we can do this easily. Let's go back here. I didn't notice that. Let's go to, okay. So instead of grabbing nearest, let's right click and go to endpoint and click. Oh, see, it's not letting me grab an endpoint. I think that's because that's a center line. And for some reason, it's not picking up a center line. So, all right, I guess we got to go back here and click on this and draw to there, okay? And we're going to continue with that and draw up to there. And so I am getting some, but some object snaps, which I want to use, obviously, but not all of them that I want to use. So I'm going to go from here to here. Actually, I am going to, I'll fix that when I get back to the drawing. All right, now we got to fix this, right? This is wrong. So how are we going to fix this? Well, let's click on that line, and I'm going to pull this off a little bit. Is it going to let me do that? Right there. And I'm going to pull this, click on that, and pull this out a bit. All right, let's do this again. You see what I did? Instead of just moving straight up, I moved out a little bit and then moved it up. I think I went out 0.1 or 0.09, 0.1, roughly 0.1. So let's do this. Okay, so look, that can come out a little bit and then go out like this, 0.1. All right, that's good. Okay, that's good. Now, let's go to this now. Okay, let's go to copy, and I'm going to pick this line and this line, and I'm going to hit enter. That's weird that it's so short. Well, let's go down and let's pick point to point, and I'm going to pick this point to here. Okay. Whoops. I don't think I should have hit escape. Let's try that again. Copy, pick those two lines. There it is, point to point. I pick this, I go down here, and then I hit enter. Okay. So far, so good. All right. Now over here, this should be a little bit easier. But what I'm going to do, because I really want to project it from here, so watch, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to grab the end right here, and I'm going to draw over all the way across to right there. All right, notice it's giving me an endpoint because it recognizes that that's actually part of a curve. I know it's complicated, but you have to trust me on that. Then we go over here, and it does that right there. That's good. Now we got to fix this, right? Because obviously that's not appropriate. So let's go and use grips again. So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to get that grip box, and I'm going to just pull this back right about there. Okay, and then I'm going to grab this one and pull it out like that. Okay, let's do the same thing over here. Now I am not going to worry about whether there's dashes in this. Okay, so you can see in this one there's no dashes. That's fine. All right, because it will be a thin line. If you really want dashes, what you got to do is just extend this a little bit. There we go. Because what happens is there's a threshold. When the line is too short, it won't put a dash in there. So we just hadn't reached that threshold. Okay, so that's that. And now let's do the same thing for the top. We're going to go to the line. We'll grab that midpoint. We'll draw all the way down to that endpoint, and then we will grab this grip, click, and grab this, drag this down to right about there, and then we'll do the same thing over here. Grab that right about there, and that looks peachy. And last but not least, we got to fix this. Now, the cutting point line helps us here. So we don't need a horizontal line, but we do need extension lines like this. So you know what we could do? Yeah, no, that would be too difficult. Let's grab the endpoint here, and we'll draw all the way through like that. And then we'll grab the nearest point here and grab all the way through like that. And now we just got to extend it. So we click on that, extend it right there. Click on this and pull it off a little bit. Click on this and pull it off a little bit. Okay, click on that, and there you go. All right. Excellent. Okay. So that's our workaround for that. I know I still have this. I'm going to do that. I'll show you how I'm going to fix that. But let's go finish our sketch here, and look at how nice that looks. Okay. Now, I said I'd fix this one. Let's go to center line, and let's pick a line in between these two. That's actually too long. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to pull it back a little bit to right about there. Whoops, is it going to come back? It might not come back far enough. Yeah, okay, so that didn't work. Let's go back to our sketch, and let's just do this. Right. Oh, it's not even giving that right there. So let's go right click. Let's go to center, and then we'll pick the center right here, and we'll go, oh, you know what? That's what the problem is. I got it snapped to grid. I don't want to snap to grid. You see what happened? Oh, and I don't want continuous either. I want center too. It reverted back. So let's go back here, and there we go. Click, click, and we just pull this off a little bit, pull this off a little bit, and then we say finish the sketch, and we're good. Okay, so yeah, that's not the best way to do that. Obviously, it would be great if Fusion fixed those features, but I can honestly say that before they added that sketch feature, it was worse. So this is just a reasonable workaround, and maybe the drawings that you guys are doing, it's not really going to be the case. In this one, there's the slots really make it so. So I have my views all done. I haven't put one of these up here, but let's project this view up here. Oh, look at that. So we got it projects the section view. All right, well, that's not what we want. So let's do that. Can I project from this up here? Yeah, that'll work. Right? Hit enter. All right, but let's fix that. Let's first of all, let's make this half the scale. So right now it's at 1:1, so let's go 1/2, and let's make it shaded. And then we can kind of move this over here a little bit, move it into the corner. There we go. All right, so that kind of shows what we're looking at. And now let's get on to the dimensioning part of it. Okay, so we want to break things down again using our 2 steps, right? So let's get the vertical and horizontal shape first, right? So these are rectangular prisms. We have a horizontal prism, so I know that we need a total width across here, and we need a length. Now here in this case, I think that this dimension here is better than doing the same thing up here, because here I can see the L shape. Here I don't get to see that, okay? And I need a height, so I'll dimension that there. Okay, so a couple things though. I'm noticing that I'm truncating my decimals, okay? And so here this is 2 and this is 3.5. What I really want is 2.00 or 3.50. So I want 2 decimal places. So how do I fix that? I go over here to, let's go to, I think it's sheet settings. No, document settings. There we go. And right here we go to display leading zeros. No. Right? Leading zero is like 0.5 or 0.5. We do not want leading zeros, but we do want trailing zeros. So I'm going to click on this and set my trailing zeros to, now here it's kind of hiding the full text. Display trailing zeros, yes. And the precision is 2 decimal places, right? So here's what we want. We want 2 decimal places. Okay, this is angular precision. All right, it fixes that. Good, 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 good. Okay, so we got the length there, the width, we need a thickness. Work sequentially on this, okay? We need a thickness right there. Up here, we need a thickness across here. There we go. That's really the only view. Don't put that here because we really can't see the detail right there. All right. So we have the length, width, and height for the vertical and horizontal section of this. Now, I guess we got to move on to the slots. So let's take the first slot here. So this slot right here, we need a width of the slot. So I need to know how much this is going to be open, 0.75. Now that's kind of jammed in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this and I'm going to move it over here. This is a normal thing to put dimensions on and then figure out that you got to delete them or move them around. That's completely normal. So let's move this out a little bit. This arrow is a little short, but there's not much I can do with that, right? Fusion sets that in there. I can move the A, right? But I can't move the arrow. I can move it left and right in this case, but I can't make it shorter or longer, so we just have to deal with that. Okay. Oh, you know what, though? In terms of getting rid of the A's, because remember the A is unnecessary because there's only one view. The rule is if there's only one view, you don't need to label it, right? And since I've taken out the text, these A's are just kind of left there. But watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this. I'm going to move it up here. Now you might be thinking, well, why the heck am I moving it up there? Well, guess what's not going to print? That's outside of our border, so that ain't printing. Okay, brilliant. All right, so you can do that. All right, so this is a negative prism right there. That's the width. And let's get the length of that. And I'm going to grab this and I'm going to grab that because I want the gap right there. I want that gap. I don't know what that warning is. Let's just ignore that warning because they won't print anyway, and I know the dimension is good. The thickness is right there, right? So that's good. I need to give a dimension for this rounded portion here. Excuse me, this rounded portion out here, because this 0.75 is already the diameter across there. So let's do that as a radius. So I'll pull that right out there. Okay. All right, so that's done. Oh, I do need to give the little height right there. And I've already given that, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to dimension from here to here. And now I want the 0.62. I want it to pull down, but notice it's not really pulling down. So this is what you do. You place it first, hit escape, and then click on it, and then you can drag it around. So I'm going to pull it out right about there. Suppose I could also pull it up, but yeah, no, up. See how it goes the other way? It goes to the right. I like it to go to the left here. So I'm going to pull it right about there. And there we go. Okay, that's good. Let's do this slot right here. Now slots kind of have a typical dimension. We need a width, we need a length, and we need a, yeah, that's it. And I'll show you what else we need. We need a width right there, okay? And I'm gonna move this inside because I really don't want it sticking out right there. So I want to try to get it so that that little green box is not on. There we go. I want the arrows on the outside, so that's good. Sometimes you got to zoom in to make it easier to pick those. And I want a width. Right there. Okay. And the same thing, I don't want that sticking on the outside, so I'm going to move this in like this. And it's going to put the arrows on the outside, which is perfect. And last but not least, I am going to give, we want to show that these are circular radiuses, all right? But we can't give a dimension because that would be over dimensioning. We already have that there. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to a radius dimension. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to go up here like so. I could go over here. Yeah, let's bring it over here because there's more views over here. And now I'm going to hit escape to get out of that. I'm going to double click on this and watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to backspace over the whole thing and write 2x space r. Okay. So that means 2 times radius, but I'm not giving a number, right? So what that tells us is that those are circular radiuses, and in fact there's 2 of them. But no number means that I'm avoiding the over-dimensioning problem if I have the 0.5 and the radius here. That would be over-dimensioning of if I had a radius of 0.25. All right. Now, the other way around this is to get rid of the 0.5 and just to dimension this as 2 times r 0.25. The reason why I like the 0.5 is because this would typically be made with a tool called an end mill, which is looks like a drill bit. So then you drill through the center here, and then you travel this way to cut out the slot. And the end mills are specified by their diameter. So if I give a 0.25 radius here, that's really, making it a little bit inconvenient for the machinist or whoever is going to be making this part. So I'm trying to ease things up on them. All right, so let's see. Do I have everything in there? Yeah, I think so. The only thing I am missing is the slot or the dovetail. All right, so the dovetail is kind of tricky. We're going to dimension the opening here from here to here. Okay. Excuse me, no, not that one. I'm not going to do that one. Grabbed the wrong one. We're going to dimension this part. Okay. And then we want to give the depth of the dovetail. So from here to here. That's too close. There we go. And in fact, I'm going to move this one while I'm here. I'm just going to move it in right there so it's kind of even with that one. Maybe a little bit more in just to make it look nice. You know, you always want to make it look nice. This one, I should stagger these. Having these right in line is not good. So I'm going to stagger. I'll move this one down a little bit, like right there. That makes it look a little bit easier, better. Easier to follow, right? Less prone to mistakes. And then the last thing I need is an angle. I need this angle right here. So I'm going to dimension that right there, and we'll put that 60. Can we get it in there right there? Yeah, we can. That looks good. Can I move this 60 inside here? Yeah, but it flips the arrows, which I don't want to do. But you know what I'm going to do here? I don't need the 2 decimal places here. So I'm going to double click this, and where it says precision, I'm going to go to 0 decimal places, right? So notice that I did that just for this dimension, right? So, and you can do that, right? Obviously for special cases. And I can just get this in there if I'm careful. There we go, right? I just like the arrows on the inside in this case. All right, so far so good. The only thing that we have left to do is we need to locate the features, because all these are size dimensions. So we need to locate this. So this feature is located by virtue of it being on the center line here, which means it's symmetrical. So this is already this slot is already located, as is the dovetail, as is this slot in this plane, right? But I need to tell how far it is down, right? So I can't omit that dimension. Let's go from here to here, and we'll move that, and this is going to look ugly, right? So obviously I don't want that there. I'm going to click on it, and now this time I'm going to do this in 2 stages. I'll show you why. I'm going to click and move it up there, which is good. But now what I'd really like to do is I'd really like to get this arrow on top of that arrow to look like a continuous arrow, and I can do that with, whoops, I can do that with, is it going to let me do that? It is going to fight me, isn't it? Let's see if I can move this one out a little bit. There we go. All right, so by hook or crook, we get that done. And again, we get this here. I think that this is because it's coming off of a line that I drew from the sketch. All right, I know the dimension is correct, so it's all good. Same thing for this one. And I think I have everything dimensioned. All right, so now I can just kind of massage it, make it look a little bit better, pull that in a little bit. This looks good. Maybe I can pull this down a little bit and maybe pull this in like right about there just to make it look a little tighter. This one, it's sticking out a little bit, so we can go in there. There's nothing we can do about that around the arrow. And this maybe will come down a smidge right about there. That looks good. It's good to just kind of look through your drawing and make sure that you got that everything looks neat and tidy as much as you can. Okay. All right, so that is the completed dimensioning. Oh, no, it's not, because I need my notes here. All right, and the notes are pretty much standardized, so you probably got this from the other lesson lectures in this. But let's go ahead and put this in here. So I'm gonna open this up nice and big, right? And we'll say unless otherwise specified, (1) all dimensions in inches, 2 dimensions per ASME XY 14.5-2009. 3. There's no fillets and rounds, so I don't need anything like that. You know, there really isn't anything. Maybe out for 3, I'll put remove all burrs and sharp edges. It's not really necessary, but and we close, and then there we go. Okay, so those are the notes, and then we can finish up by double clicking on the border, and we can change these. C Bales and check by C. Obviously, you can use here. Let me do it this way: approve C Bales, check C Bales, drawn. This is where your name, in case you're confused. All right. There's no code. The drawing number. This drawing number is drawing 3.7. Let me save this because here we go. Save it. There's no weight, right? Sheet, revision. If you want to put a revision number, technically this is revision 0. If you were keeping track of revisions, that means it's the first one, sheet 1 of 1. Code, there's no code here. Size B, weight, you know, not applicable. Gripping jaw. Maybe we could section view. There we go. Everything's beautiful, and we're ready to print this. All right, so we can go up to output PDF, all sheets. Let's open the PDF. We want to see the line weights. Yes, that was just a warning for disassociated dimensions. We'll go like that. And then here is our drawing. All right, and you can see if I zoom in here, you can kind of see the line weights. That looks really good. All right. Looks like the line weights for the center might be a little bit thicker, but I'd have to plot that out to actually see whether it's done that. All right, so beautiful. All right, and that's it. Once you get that, then you're able to turn that in. All right, so I hope that helps. The next video that I do for this lecture series on dimensioning and drawing will be in the assembly drawing, okay? And that will be about getting the bill of material, getting the balloons, and anything like that associated with the assembly drawing. All right, see you then.